Adam and Tamera faced a lot of racism because of their relationship, mainly Tamera, and the reason being that she is seen as a black woman, and unfortunately for her, some members of the black community don't really rock with her husband like that. And her being with a white man has definitely put a target on her back more so than Tia. I think most of the issues that Tamera has experienced with her husband is one because she's a mixed race black woman and she's a preference to a lot of black men. I gotta keep it real here. And so a lot of black men, they feel as if she has betrayed them and their race, even though she is biracial and she grew up with a white father. But it doesn't matter to them because they believe in the one drop rule. So if you have one drop of black, that means you're fully black, even though logically and scientifically it doesn't make sense. Being that she had to fight a lot to prove the validity of her relationship has been very disheartening to see.
Hurtful. Because when my husband and I are so openly and we're fine with showing is love. Love. But people choose to look past the love and spew hate. I've never experienced so much hate.
What do they say?
Called white man's whore.
Red flag. So people are calling her the white man's whore, all because she decided to date and marry someone outside of her race. Aside from Adam's character, I think that the fact that she's a biracial woman having to go through this, you can only imagine how it must be for an unambiguous black woman to date and marry out, especially with a white man. In case this is your first time watching, I am in an interracial marriage. My husband is Korean. And we have thankfully never faced this type of backlash. And I believe the reason why we haven't faced it as much is because he is Asian. And he belongs to the person of color category. So our dynamic, yeah, of course, probably some people have made comments. I haven't seen it, to be honest with you. I don't meet it on a regular basis. And it's possibly because I live in an area where, one, people are more educated, let's just be real, where there's a lot of diverse and interracial relationships, so people don't really bat an eyelash. However, I do believe that when it comes to specifically dark-skinned black women or black women, mixed race, whoever, dating white men, there's another type of hate that comes with it. It's on another level. And I believe it is because black men, some, not all, because I always have to make this very clear, and these are my opinions, they are in direct competition with white men, especially in the US of A. And if you really think about it, black men have been dating interracially since the dawn of time. I mean, as far as when interracial marriage became legalized, more black men marry out than black women. And they're used to black women being in the secondary role, as in the backup plan, the fallback plan. However, in modern times, especially within the last 10 years, probably the last decade, more black women are starting to date interracially. And this has definitely shifted the landscape of interracial marriage. If black women start to date and marry interracially, then that is going to lead to the erasure of black men and black women. So, that's the argument that a lot of people make. I personally believe that you should be with who you want to be with for the simple fact that outside of North America, there are millions of black people in the world. So if you're looking at it from the perspective of your generation and lineage, then yes, it might get erased. Possibly. But then you don't know what's going to happen in your gene pool. So let's say you are pro-black or pro-white or whatever race you are, pro-Asian. You decide to procreate. You don't know within the bloodline of the future generations if somebody else will decide they want to date interracially. You think people have your mindset? This is why this argument doesn't make sense. Yes, you can create black children or white children or whatever ex-children. However, you cannot decide further down the line, who they choose to marry and procreate with. And that mindset will change. So for example, my whole bloodline is Haitian, black, descendants of Africa, West Africa to be exact. Then transported to Haiti, and then that's where the generation started for us, right? So now, all of my great-great-great-grandparents black. Blackety black, as far as I know. And maybe a little mixture here and there on my mom's side, but my daddy's straight black. Black. So now, my parents had me. I married an Asian man. You really think that my ancestors could foresee that happening? They couldn't. And this is why the whole non-race mixing argument to me is asinine. It doesn't make sense. Logically, it doesn't make sense. Because yes, if I married a black man, my kids would be black. But who would say that my child wouldn't choose someone else? Who's to say their children wouldn't choose to marry somebody of a different race? And not only that, who's to say that they would even be straight? Who's to say anything? This is all about control and the optics, in my opinion. So I get the argument that, oh, we're going to erase the black race, but guess what? It's going to be erased whether you like it or not. Because I'm pretty sure there are some white ancestors somewhere down the line of some people, someone in their lineage chose to date and marry out. You can't control how people think and what people choose to do, especially now that it's legal. Maybe before it wasn't legal, so that prohibited and prevented it. But beyond that, you are allowed to freely choose who you want to be with. So my point is this. Do not think for 1 second that you can control the outcome of how your generation goes. So this is why I say marry who loves you and takes care of you in the present and for now until you are in this earth, as long as you're on this earth, because your time is not promised. And you may think that you're doing a big one for your generation and they could disappoint you. That goes for millions of dollars and monies and companies. You can do your best and try your best to leave something for them and a legacy for them. But at the same time, you can't control the outcome of what happens. So this is all you can do is just control what you do on this earth. And that's it. And if you feel like a white man or a white woman or a black man, black woman, Asian man, Asian woman, Indian man, whatever. If you feel like they can take care of you in this lifetime, then dang it, go and marry them. And don't worry about what other people say. Let them live in their delusional, nonsensical world. But in this real world, your time is going to be up like this. And trust me, when you pass away, the last thing you're going to think is, oh, I should have married a white man. I should have married. No, you're going to think about your happiness and what you did on this earth and what impact you made. And you could leave out on a good note. That is all.
The new one was...
God, Tamera.
Oh, yeah. Back in the day, you cost $300, but now you're giving it to him for free. Like,
we had a lot of outside things that kind of got in our way.
Dealing with racial junk. It was when social media was
Just came
taking
out.
off, and it would come directly to us.
Now, there's a second part to this vitriol that she has experienced due to her marrying Adam. Adam has said some very controversial statements against the black community, so that adds on to it. We are going to see how this has affected their relationship. And as Sis said, Adam likes to yap. And we're going to see why he has had her face the consequences of him yapping and not knowing how to shut his mouth.
I get what you're saying in the sense that, like, there are some people who think that my husband is racist because he
And
worked
you know
for a
in your
certain
heart.
channel. I'm gonna look in that camera right there and let everybody know my husband is not a racist. Boom. And
Moving along. Now, let's get to Adam's racist past. Because now that I said all that, that doesn't mean that you should marry someone of another race who has questionable intentions and character flaws. Let's read the first article. Adam Housley under fire for racist comments made about Trayvon Martin in the wake of his niece's unaliving. I know I have a very diverse audience, so I will explain who Trayvon Martin is. Trayvon Martin was an 18-year-old black teenager who was pew-pewed down in Sanford, Florida by a overzealous neighborhood watchman. And he targeted Trayvon Martin because he thought that Trayvon was up to no good. And he took it upon himself to take him out of this earth. And Trayvon was wearing a hoodie. It was raining outside, and you guys know how that goes. You can Google the story if you need more information. But there was a lot of racial tension after that. So we're going to see what Trayvon Martin has to do with this. So let's read this. In the wake of their tragedy, the former Fox News correspondent is being reminded of insensitive and racist comments he made in the aftermath of slain teen Trayvon Martin's tragic death in 2012. The Shade Room posted and deleted the following exchange between Adam and a commenter, in which Adam admitted to saying Trayvon bought his own unaliving to himself before he had all the facts. Now I understand what's going on. When his niece was unexpectedly unalived by a mass pew-pewer, people bought back his statements that he made on Trayvon Martin. And they were basically trying to say, well, you want sympathy from us, but you didn't have sympathy for Trayvon. That's pretty much what's going on. And y'all know the Shade Room is one of the most toxic Instagram pages on the internet. So I can only imagine what was going on here. So let's read the screenshots. So someone wrote, wait, did Adam really say that Trayvon bought his own unaliving to himself, or are those just bad rumors? So I guess someone was trying to figure out, like, what's going on here? Like, why are people coming at him like this? That's basically what they're saying. And so he responded and said, you look at the timestamp. As a reporter, when I was first covering it, I said that we didn't know all the facts, and guilt or justice is not the answer. Look at all of my tweets over time as the story evolved. But wait, that wouldn't fit the narrative that I am insensitive and racist now, would it? We need to stop the hate, stop the misrepresentation, #enough. So he's saying that he didn't say anything about Trayvon Martin. Negative anyways. He probably said something in the beginning. And you know how media does it. They'll get breaking news and then they want to be the first one to be on it. And so they start spewing at the mouth. And then once information develops, then they change their tune. You're just basing your information off of what you see at the moment. But your opinion might change. People's opinions might change depending on how the story develops. So I will give him a little bit of leeway here. But let's continue reading. So the article continues, if you recall, most of the national conversation in the aftermath of Trayvon's death became about gun violence, protest racism, and the systemic mistreatment of people of color. Adam and his Fox News counterparts were adamant in their belief that race didn't play a factor in Trayvon's unaliving. So now, we're going to read screenshots from July 14th of 2013. Adam wrote and tweeted, Martin attorney, so Trayvon's attorney or the family of Trayvon's attorney. For Trayvon to rest in peace, we must all be peaceful. And then someone wrote back, so I guess someone on social media wrote back and said, you don't think race even played a small part? I'm curious. Then he tweeted, not in the fight / unaliving / tragedy, in the aftermath due to people using this for their own gain. And then in 2014, so this was all July 2013. Now we skip over to November of 2014. He wrote, the looters are opportunists. They don't deserve to be called protesters. That is unfair to those who aren't burning and stealing. So this was in the aftermath of Mike Brown. This is another case of an innocent black man getting pew-pewed by a police officer. On August 9th, 2014, 18-year-old Michael Brown was unalived by a police officer by the name of Darren Wilson in Ferguson, Missouri. And so after that happened, there was a lot of turmoil, looting, protesting, that usually happens. It comes with it, right? So now he's upset about it. Then he wrote, people, this whole case is sad, which is true. Get a life. Many of these looters and rioters are not from this neighborhood. They are ruining locals. Okay, he actually has a point here, because a lot of the times there are people who use the opportunity, especially criminals. They are not part of the protest. Protest is usually peaceful. A lot of people just want to express themselves and express their displeasure with how things are going and their anger, right? However, some people do take the opportunity in those situations to cause chaos. And so they're getting mixed in. So I could see his viewpoint here, but let's continue. Then he wrote, in conclusion, I wish they both went home that night. Prayers with Martin's family. Zimmerman should not fear vigilante justice. Red flag. Now this is where we gonna have a red flag. Yes, he said they both should have gone home that night. So Michael Brown and Trayvon Martin both should have been able to get what they needed from the convenience store, because that's literally what happened to both of them, and make their way home. The same as a white teenager. However, Zimmerman should not fear vigilante justice. Why not? He should fear it. He should. So now we want to act like people shouldn't be angry and take justice into their own hands because you feel like he should get treated with the respect that Trayvon didn't. And we should all kumbaya when it comes to him, and people shouldn't take matters into their own hands. And I'm not agreeing with that, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying I could understand it. Because you can't control how somebody responds to you doing something to them and their family. And for you to say, well, let's give grace to Zimmerman and, let the court of law decide. But then he decided he was going to be judge and juror and executor of this young man's life. Where was the grace then? See, this is the problem. He's talking out of both sides of his mouth. And this is what happens when you talk too much. I talk a lot too. Don't get me wrong. I love talking. But when I talk, I think about what I'm saying. I don't just yap. He is very insensitive to the family of Trayvon Martin. It would have been better for him to keep his mouth shut. These are dinner table conversations you can have with your wife, Tamera. You want people to think you are empathetic, but you're not. What he's trying to do is prove his point. But by proving his point, he's just proving that he thinks and believes that there's no reason for people to be angry. Yeah, we unalived your son, but that's okay. Don't take it out on him. Let the courts decide, when you know dang on well the courts were going to go in the favor of that man. He unalived an 18-year-old that was just getting Skittles and going to the convenience store. And people are going to say, well, Trayvon punched him, all that stuff, because he was harassing him. So you're telling me if somebody's harassing you, asking you where you're going, what you're doing, not even a police officer. George Zimmerman was a glorified security officer. Oh, you should just comply. No, because that's what they're going to use just for you to submit. And then after that, look at what's going on here. And I will say that not everyone thinks like him. However, subconsciously, his conscious, you can see it in full effect that he definitely has some biases that he needs to work on. Let's continue on reading this article. On Monday, Adam sent a message with the ladies of The View calling attention to the judgment, the polarization, and the lack of heart he's witnessed following his niece's unaliving. Also, now you want the sympathy that you didn't give to others. You didn't care about Trayvon and Michael Brown's families when you was spewing all of them tweets. You didn't care about them, but now you want people to care about you and your niece. And I do care about your niece. Rest in peace to her, because she's an innocent bystander. So now we should feel more sympathetic towards your niece than Trayvon and Michael Brown, even though they were all the same age. Your niece, Trayvon, Michael Brown were all the same age. They were all doing the same thing. Trying to go out, have a good time, buy something, go back home. And yet, it's different, right? Oh, because police officers were involved and it wasn't a mass pew-pewing, it doesn't matter. Situations were different, but circumstances were similar. So, by your logic, we should also just wait for the court of law to figure this out. Oh, so in your case, there's really no justice because he decided to pew-pew himself too. Now you understand how it feels when you don't get justice. But now instead of internalizing it and working on that, you would rather take it out on people because they are rightfully showing you your hypocrisy. That's what's going on. But then what can we expect from a selfish man? He been selfish. I done showed y'all that. Let's continue reading this article. All right. So now he is quoted saying, while we're helping these pew pew laws and trying to make that happen, before we can even get a consistent national pew pew policy, we have to understand that we as a country and as a society are at a crossroads. Oh, now you get it. Oh, now you understand. The hatred, the judgment, the polarization, and the lack of heart. We are going to make a change. I can guarantee it. And Elena is with us as we do this. Okay. So there you go, y'all. That was the first incident. So now he wants peace and he wants to go and, do something about these national pew pew laws. Oh, so now you understand why we need national pew pew laws. But when it was Trayvon and Michael, there was no level of understanding. Those looters, those protesters, the business owners. Yeah. Oh, it's not fun when it's on the other side now, is it? And this is what happens when you have a lack of empathy. But we knew it because when your wife was passed out on the bed from being drunk in Greece, you went on a hike instead of checking on her. Red flag. Let's continue to the next one. Now, the second controversy happened very recently. And by recent, I mean just in February of this year. Now, let's read this article by BET. Adam Housley slammed for controversial comments on SNAP benefits and fraud. So, SNAP is welfare benefits. Housley, who's married to Tamera Housley, claimed that as a child he'd witnessed people buy crap food for their kids with food stamps. Red flag! Let's figure this out. Why did he get a red flag? Because he grew up in Napa Valley, California. The median income in Napa County, California is $109,000, 13.1% higher than California. And this was between 2019 to 2023. And so I can imagine that it's probably similar in 2025. So this means that majority of average people in Napa County have some money. So I don't know who he saw in his childhood buying crap food for their kids with food stamps. And even if he was low income, who are you to judge people on what they do with their money? Oh, but you're the morality police. So let's go and read what he has to say. Remember, he's a Leo man. I done did a whole live stream on 2 other Leos. Ace from Love Island is also a Leo man. And so is Spencer from the Hills. We talked about him very briefly in comparison to Ace. And remember, one thing I said about Ace, and that I can see with Adam as well, is with these type of Leo men, they think that they are the morality police. And they can control what you do and what you buy with your money, even though it's none of his dang on business. Let's continue. Although he's married to a woman from a marginalized community, y'all, BET went in, Adam Housley, the husband of Tamera Housley, had sharp criticism for those who he believes are taking SNAP benefits for granted. On Wednesday, February 18, the reporter and winemaker showed his advocacy for the possible SNAP benefit reform under President Donald Trump, which will reportedly correct the financial mismanagement of Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits, so SNAP. The news of the proposed change provoked Housley, who says he grew up in neighborhood grocery stores, to recall moments when he was 5 years old and witnessing customers buying crap food for their kids with food stamps, then opening the wallet and using cash for liquor, beer, wine, and cigarettes. So he observed all that at 5 years old, and he could remember that. He could remember that. You know what I remember at 5 years old? When my mom took me to the grocery store, I would run to the candy aisle to get candy because I wanted candy. He was so mature for a 5-year-old that he wasn't concerned about buying snacks and candy himself. Because, normally 5-year-olds do that. He was worried about what other people were buying because it's not fair. I don't get these snacks. Why do they get these snacks? He wants us to believe this. Then there were those who would repeatedly buy a lemon or lime, get the change, walk out the door, throw them away, and do it again, he continued, until they had enough change to buy cigarettes or alcohol. What's it to you? What's it to you? Is that any of your business? See, that's one thing I'm noticing about some of these men, especially Leos. I'm sorry if you're a Leo, you're catching a stray here. This is the third one, and they all have the same demeanor. All up in other people's business, what people can buy, controlling what people are doing. Although he was a child, the presumed misuse of food stamps apparently made Housley pissed, due to there being some people who could really use the help, and then there are others working the system. There are always people working the system, including your wealthy friends, but you're not going to talk about it. You're not going to talk about your wealthy friends at Fox News who are working the system. They do it every day by picking and choosing stories that are going to villainize a certain demographic of people, but you don't care about that. You don't care about people working the system that are your cronies. You don't care about that. You don't care about people working the system when it comes to finding jobs. You don't care about that. Oh, but you care about what people do with benefits. Oh, because I'm a lawful taxpayer. Even though there are probably people in government siphoning the money as we speak, including your leader, DT. And yet you care about the low-income people who can't even make a dent in the economy with the money that they have. Let's just be clear. But yeah, you're concerned about them. That's where the moral compass comes from. Oh, we need to fix this, but not the corruption that's happening higher up. Red flag, you degenerate thinker. You're not that smart. And Tamera's like, oh, he's so smart. No, he's not. He's not. The article continues. A flood of criticism came in, with Housley calling his detractors haters, while claiming his comments were taken out of context. Were they? You literally wrote it here. These are your words. This is your page. You wrote it. And it was taken out of context? Okay, let us know what the context was then. We were talking about how fraud hurt people who truly needed them. If we want to talk about fraud, there's a lot of stuff I could say, y'all, if we really want to talk about fraud. If we really want to talk about fraud and get down to it, I could say a lot of things. And trust and believe, food stamps ain't one of them. I saw it firsthand for years and continue to help people in need out of my own pocket, Housley explained. And then he said, I could go a lot deeper. Both are sketchy. Okay, somebody wrote something about Zelensky. I'm not reading all that. Okay, then someone responded and said, that's fine, but that was the olden days. You can't get cash back on your EBT food card today. Exactly, it goes for food. Then he said, yep, we were talking about the olden days, though. I know how it works. Fraud only hurts families in need. Okay, then why don't you go up to the Capitol and talk about the fraud that's going on right now? Why don't you be the reformist, Adam? Go take your cape. Go fly over to the Capitol and talk about the fraud that's currently happening in the administration that you back up. How about you talk about that? How about the fraud that happened with the 40 acres and a mule? People still didn't get their reparations. We ain't gonna talk about that, though. Oh, not that fraud. Oh, no, that's not fraud. He doubled down and said, you missed the entire point, and people/haters have once again purposely lied and taken things out of context. We were talking about how fraud hurt people and who truly needed them. I saw it firsthand for years and continue to help people in need out of my own pocket. But that doesn't fit the hater narrative. Completely taken out of context. That's the world today, though. Likely none of the trolls and haters have ever given a dime or lifted a hand to help, so there's that. See, this right here is how I know he's full of crap. Helped who? Helped who? Helped what? And even if you did, why are you mentioning that here? We ain't talking about that. Adam, let's hear. What have you done? Please let us know. We would like to know. Oh no, but he can't tell us that. But we should believe him. Because again, he's the moral police. Clearly, I was falsely targeted and never had anything to say about Snap. You just did. In your tweet. Thankfully, social media fact checkers are calling it out. That means the people who are as dumb as you. Last comment on this, and glad there's a net in place to stop lies and deceit. Remember, he said he wasn't talking about Snap, but look at here. He retweeted This breaking news story: Trump administration may ban the use of food stamps for purchasing junk food. But he's not talking about SNAP. Red flag, you liar! You're lying in front of everyone. You see, this is the problem. You think everybody's like Tamera. You think everyone's blind to your foolishness. So you can get away with it with Tamera. Because, again, sis is done. She's gone for you. And that's okay. If she likes it, great for her. But for the rest of us, don't try to pull the wool over our eyes. We're not going to fall for it, you see, because you're used to going around and talking in circles and her believing everything you say. But in the real world, it's not going to cut out. And that's why you was getting jumped on Twitter. Right after left, left after right. They drug you all over Twitter, and rightfully so. Because you think you're smarter than everyone. And you're not even smarter than a fifth grader. You're a fifth grader. You have 2 of them in your house, and they're smarter than you. Even they wouldn't make statements like that. Next! While Tamera and Adam were trying to prove to the world that Adam's not racist, Tia and Cory continued on in their marriage, and they shared with the world how their marriage works. In an interview with People magazine, Tia and Cory revealed that they do not take traditional gender roles in their household, so everybody is responsible for everything.
We don't focus on, specific gender roles, meaning the women should just do one thing and then the men should just do one thing. It's a team effort.
Now, at the end of this interview, they were like, yeah, we all share household chores. The kids, they have their roles too. Cree is responsible for taking out the trash. And then Tia does, cooking, cleaning. And Cory, we still don't know what he does, Lord. But let's get to this couple quiz. The first question was, who kissed who first? And Tia said that Cory asked to kiss her and then he kissed her.
Who kissed who first? Cory, he asked to kiss me. Woo! All right. Man does what he wants.
Who is crankier in the morning? I'm going to answer it for you guys. Cory! We saw it before.
Who is crankier in the morning? Cory! Oh my gosh. Yes, that's me. Kiss me.
When he was like, don't interrupt me in that interview.
Everything's not perfect, marriage is work.
And that's
Marriage is work. I'm
is.
not here. Let me.
Go ahead, sorry.
I'm not gonna be here and everything.
Who disciplines the kids the most? Cory. Of course he does. He look like he runs a tight ship because, he gotta do something.
Who disciplines the kids the most? Good cop, bad cop. Cory! Yeah.
She's the one doing mostly everything, so there's that. Continuing on. Who's most likely to schedule that sexy night?
Like, hey, we need some time away from the kids. Who's scheduled? Yeah. Tia. Nice. TA schedules everything, ma. Yeah. Well, you gotta be thankful for that. In particular schedule. Yeah.
Red flag. Tia is the one that's scheduling all of your quality time together. So far we realize that Tia's doing the most work in making this relationship happen. Now, in the beginning, Cory was the one who initiated everything to gauge her interest. Because Tia doesn't spark me as the type to be like Tamera to do everything first. I think she likes to be courted. But then he did a little flip. He did a switcheroo on her. And now she's the one carrying everything. She's the one scheduling the dates. And we also saw it in their reality show.
So I'm really thrilled that Cory and I have been able to have Ridva, the babysitter, watch Cree. Tonight, we are feeling like young bucks, and we are ready.
You look amazing, honey.
Thank you, baby. It's nice that you and I are out tonight.
You see, got a surprise. I didn't know.
What?
This ain't like Jerry Springer. You finna pull somebody out the back on me or
Cory,
something.
really? No.
Maury Povich.
Really? Cory, stop. Cory always wants to crack jokes. I'm trying to be romantic here, man. It's all about romance.
I'm playing, baby. You look very beautiful. Give me a kiss.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do you want to order some oysters?
Yeah, I need some food tonight. God dang it.
Can you believe we've been together, Cory, for 12 years?
That's a long time, too.
Yeah, that's a very long time.
And one of us still alive? Boy.
Tia and Cory continued to, work on their separate endeavors. Tia started to focus more on her YouTube channel, and we saw her introduce her family members, and she would have really cute vlogs and story times. Everyone thought all was good in the Hardrick neighborhood up until October 4th of 2022, when Tia had an announcement to make. She wrote in an Instagram post, "I have always been honest with my fans, and today is no different. I wanted to share that Cory and I have decided to go our separate ways. These decisions are never easy and not without sadness. We will maintain a friendship as we co-parent our beautiful children. I am grateful for all the happy times we had together and want to thank my friends, family, and fans for your love and support as we start this new chapter moving forward in our lives." Looks like there was a lot of things going on, and we already knew it from the beginning. However, it's very sad whenever a couple doesn't make it. It's very sad, and I feel sad for their kids and for them too, because 14 years is a lot of time. That's a lot of work that was put into this marriage. Now, let's see why Tia decided to give up. And also if Cory really did share the same sentiments, because it looked very one-sided. It appeared that Tia was the one who wanted to pull the plug, but Cory didn't. So let's get into that. After Tia announced her divorce, she went on a press run. And she had a lot to say. Now, it is important to note that Tamera also went on a press run. And when she was asked about Tia's divorce, it seemed like she really didn't want to reveal too much. But she said that, her sister made the best choice.
I support her.
Yeah.
So, whatever she wants, the Morys have her back. I love her dearly.
Like the butterfly that she is, and that she said that she's always wanted to be, Tia broke out of her cocoon that she had with Cory and decided to fly and go her own way. She finally got her wings, y'all. And she flew so much that she went all over the press to let us know that she's happy, she's free. Now, on the Today with Jenna and Friends show, she revealed the reason why she decided to get a divorce from Cory. Well, one of the reasons anyway.
You and your husband, like a lot of couples, decided that it was better to be lived, your life's better lived apart than together.
Yes.
How did you know that it was time?
That's a really good question.
To take that route?
I knew when I really started to focus on my happiness.
So Tia wasn't happy. That's basically the gist of it. And she decided to pursue her happiness and be selfish, instead of staying in a marriage that no longer served her. And she also revealed that her grandmother passed away around the same time that Elena did, so that must have affected her as well as Tamera. Now, I will say this, it seems like she never had a chance to really grow into herself. She met Cory at 21, got married a few years after. He's the only man that she's ever known. So I can see why she would want to break out of that. That's all she's ever known is Cory. She's never known who Tia is. She's only known Tia as Tia and Tamera, then Tia and Cory, and then Tia as a mom, but not Tia as herself. And this is why I'm an advocate of knowing who you are first before you get into a relationship or marriage and start to have children. Once you have a grounded sense of who you are as a person, it'll be easier for you to stay in that situation and know what you want, know who you are, who you want to be with, and how you want your life to be going forward. And I'm very fortunate that I was given that opportunity. Thank the Lord for provision. This is why being single is a benefit, especially if you're single for the amount of time where you're actually developing. Between the ages of, I would say, 19 to 25, 26, the best time, because you have time to develop yourself and who you are.
It's about self-love. And when you start to really work on yourself, love yourself, know your value, know your worth, and then all of a sudden there's this awakening. Wow. My marriage was a success.
Yeah.
I look at it as like a curriculum when you're in college or high school, right? You're learning, you're growing, you're evolving, you're creating. And I was able to create with Cory some beautiful, amazing children. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And at the end of that curriculum, and at the end, there's a graduation, there's a celebration.
Red flag, sis. Marriage is not a graduation. And the reason why I believe, I see where she's going with this, but nah, sis, that is a very selfish aspect. Now, this is a bit selfish, and the reason I'm saying that is because for the kids. Marriage is not a graduation when you're trying to raise children in a stable environment. I'm not saying that you can't raise children in a stable environment as a single mom. However, studies have shown that it is better for parents to stay together and to try to work it out. If it's a healthy relationship, let's just be clear. Now, you graduating might be great for you, but it's going to definitely cause some issues with your children. And I wish that she thought about that before she said it, because she's just thinking about herself. Like, yeah, I had some beautiful kids, and yeah, he was able to give me that at least, so then now I could be out. But you have to also think about the fact that your beautiful children are going to be affected by this divorce. And it's not going to be as pretty as you think it's going to be. And again, I'm not saying she should have stayed with Cory, because we knew that she shouldn't have linked up with him from the beginning. Let's get into her reality show. So, Tia had another reality show, and it was titled Tamera, The Next Act. So let's see how her divorce with Cory has been going. And then we're going to also see Cory's perspective and see what really was going on between them. Because as far as I could see, and as far as they said, there was no infidelity. So he didn't step out on her, she didn't step out on him. So now the audience and people in the outside world wanted to know what really happened between y'all. I mean, we already knew it because I already, red flagged him from the beginning. However, we're going to hear it from Tia's mouth.
So it's been about a year and a half since I got a divorce, and I am slowly learning who I am. I came into this world with a twin, and right after that, I went into a 22-year relationship. So I have never been alone in my life. It has been quite a journey. I am frustrated, I'm overwhelmed, and I'm just not feeling great. Listen, we are almost at your daddy's house, okay?
Hooray, I like going to daddy's.
I know you like going to daddy's. I feel like one of the hardest things that I've had to adapt to is dropping my kids off at their dad's house. I've always wanted the family dynamic of having a mom and a dad in one household. And when you're dropping your kids off, you actually visually see how that is no longer.
We're about to go to daddy's house now. Being alone has been the most challenging part of my divorce. It's times like this when I feel and wish that my sister and I were still close and I could, pick up the phone and call her. We live in different places. We have our own families. We have our own wants and desires and needs. We have different lives now. I mean, I am single.
Tamera always did give that vibe that she would eventually separate from Tia. It looks like Tia's lifestyle does not align with Tamera's. And sometimes that does happen. With some siblings, they grow further apart as they age. So let's continue watching to see if there's any more information that's revealed regarding her situation with Cory.
In the beginning of my divorce, I became obsessed. That's a little intense. I became fixated on what people thought, what people were saying, what people were thinking. Oh, God, the real reason Tia asked for a divorce. Really, do you know the real reason? Tamera keeping her divorce a secret, but here's why. Why did Tamera give up a good thing and leave her man? And if I'm being very honest with you, it made me mentally ill.
So it looks like Tia was getting backlash from the Black Love Brigade because she dared to walk away from Cory, a good black man. And so now she's getting all the backlash for it. The same backlash that Tamera got for marrying a white man is the same backlash that Tia is now experiencing for leaving a black man.
This is just a different kind of rejection because people are being nasty towards you for the first time in your life because they see you dancing on your TikTok and they're like, she's not phased, but they have no idea what you've been battling with for years.
I feel that right now, yes, I am vulnerable in my life, but it's the first time where I am actually realizing that I have a choice.
I have a choice. I have a choice to speak my mind. I have a choice to be me. I have a choice to be happy. Oh my God, I'm getting emotional. I didn't realize I had a choice before. I just didn't. I know, call that crazy.
So she wasn't herself, basically. In her marriage, she literally just confirmed it. She has a choice. And she didn't have it before. And other people were in her ear probably telling her, yeah, he's a good man, go for him. The fact that her parents were okay with her marrying somebody like Cory, and I'm not saying because he's a bad character, I'm saying because he couldn't financially take care of her. That's just as important. He needed to get himself together. But this is not what happened, and it wasn't part of her story. And now she has the choice. Yeah, you've always had the choice, but you just didn't know it because you didn't, again, get to know who you were as Tia. So now you have that opportunity.
So I see Cory on the red carpet, and my heart just drops. The first thing that comes to my head is, I'm just gonna turn around and go back home. It was just weird. I mean, eventually we end up getting like side by side. And what am I gonna do? Ignore him? Like, that's not me. That's not who I am.
Yeah.
You know? So I see him and I can sense him very uncomfortable. First thing that came to my mind was, let me just hug him and let him know that it's gonna be okay. And I feel like that has really been my role in this marriage. Society says that the only reason why we are here on earth is to please a man, to cater to serve, to birth their children. But that mindset is toxic. Because if you believe that, and I did for a minute, you'll stay in a situation where you are unhappy.
Sis, you ain't had to show us the reality. We already knew. Well, at least people like me, because, you know, I always tell y'all, I'm nosy. Not only am I nosy, but I like to look deeper into things. So a lot of us already knew you were not happy. You were unhappy. We knew it. We clocked it. And just based off of the initial way that you and Cory met, I already knew that this was not going to work out for you. Because being the breadwinner can only get you so far, especially as a woman. Now, I'm glad that you woke up from your stupor and that you realized that there's more to life than this.
I want to talk about dating.
Oh, God.
What's your ideal?
I have PTSD, just so you know.
From dating?
From dating, yeah.
Nothing good to say. Listen, we're gonna turn it around.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've had horror stories when it comes to dating. I've dated a grown-ass man who put his grill on the table. I've dated a man who didn't even know what his love languages were. He said that clean sheets were his love language.
So it looks like Tia is having a hard time dating. Welcome to the world, Tia. A lot of us went through it. I went through it all up and through before I met Dom at the age of 34. Yes, I met Dom at 34. Got married at 35. So I was single for a long time. And Tia she just got here and she already complaining. Sis, some of us have been in the trenches for years. But that doesn't mean you give up. It just means that your person just hasn't come yet. She's very impatient because she thinks that she can recreate the time and that, oh, it's going to be easy to find somebody. She doesn't realize that she is older. Not only that, but she has children. Another thing is the quality men that were available when you were at your prime, they ain't there no more like that. It decreases. That is true, statistically speaking. Most of those men are probably married off. The good ones at least. And so now, I'm not saying to deter you from getting someone. What I'm trying to say is it'll be a little harder. This is why it's important for us to have these conversations, especially for the younger generation, so they can make wiser decisions when they have the opportunity to. And unfortunately, sis, now you won't have to work just a little bit harder. Just a little bit. And you got to stop thinking that things are going to come easy like they did when you first met Cory. Unfortunately, that time has passed. But don't deter from it. You just have to Put your game face on and figure out how you're going to get to where you need to go. And maybe you need to stay single for a little bit longer, because dating after a year and a half of a 14-year marriage is pretty quick to me, at least. Take more time. But she just hot boned it. She ready to get back on it because she is still searching for love. And what she doesn't realize is that that love is what she needs to get from herself first.
What is happening? What's going on?
Build a man.
What?
Build a man.
But why are we
Build an
can I
ideal
ask you a
man.
question? Why are we doing this?
Because I don't think you know what you want.
The type of guy that I like, let's start with, takes care of himself, but he's not like buff. I don't like too ripped. I don't like that.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, his upper body still doesn't match his lower body.
They don't do leg day. They just focus on arms. I don't know what it is, but just a man with long hair. I'm just like, okay, see, that looks okay. Okay. Let's say this. I do like tattoos.
Okay.
So that is one thing that I do
You
like.
want them on the, right. It could be on the
chest.
It could be like a half pant.
I like the leg.
Red flag. See, I knew sis is worried about the wrong things. I want them with tattoos. I want them with some edge. I don't mind this, ma'am. First, you need to find a man who makes a certain amount of income, preferably yours or more. Second, you need to find someone who's family oriented because you have 2 children. And make sure that he doesn't have a criminal record and he hasn't been arrested for questionable behavior with children. PDF, I should say. Next, you need to worry about what type of family he comes from. Who has he dated? What does he believe about love? Can he accept the fact that you're an independent career woman? You need to worry about all that instead of, get the tats, long hair. These are all superficial, and that's why you got into the situation that you were in with Cory, because he is very handsome, but he was broke. And now you're headed in the same direction if all you're focused on is physical. Not saying that physical isn't important, but it's a part of a pie. And it shouldn't be the most important part of the pie. Yes, you need to be physically attracted to your mate 100%. But then there needs to be more after, but she just focused on the physical. Get it together, Tia. Let's get it together. Let's go. Let's go. This is game time. We need to focus. Refocus and regroup. Your friends are not helping you here. They need to cross all that out and be like, okay, what qualities are you looking for first? And then we can worry about physicality. Goodness. So it looks like Grandmama made a spiritual reappearance through a medium. And Tia went to a psychic and got some confirmation that her grandma wants her to be free. Now, I don't know if this is the same grandma that passed down the advice.
When it came to marriage, my mother gave me 3 rules to always live by.
Okay.
1, make sure you and your husband share the same foundation, meaning whatever is important to you guys as individuals, make sure you share that together.
Okay.
And then 2, men are visual beings.
Yes.
So keep yourself up, ladies.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a good one. That's a good one.
That's a great one.
And 3, this is a fun, it's sexual advice, and it actually came from my grandmother that passed down to my mom, that my mom passed down to me.
What?
Try to never ever go to sleep before he does.
What you mean?
Meaning, you guys.
Go on and tell the truth.
Yeah,
What
go
is
ahead.
it, girl? You know.
Be real. When you guys go to bed together, that's the time to cuddle, to play,
To do it.
and to have fun.
Right, okay.
In bed. So let me give you an example. So I come home from work, I'm really tired, and Adam has some work to do on his computer, right? And he's sitting there like this.
Uh-huh.
Then I'm like, babe, I'm ready to go to bed. Are you ready to go to bed? No, not yet. Babe, are you ready to go to bed? So that's a way of getting him to come to bed with you so that you guys can have a little fun. And then after you guys, have a lovely session and he wants to get up and finish his work, he can. But make sure that you guys go to bed together. Don't you love that?
Great advice.
Yes.
Red flags. So grandma, mom, both red flags. I'm going to mostly give it to grandma because it came from somewhere. I don't know if it came from above grandma, but whatever. Grandma's going to catch it right now. So all of this advice sounds like you have to put in the most effort. You don't go to bed before your husband does. I go to sleep when I damn well please. If my husband wants to sleep, he goes when he wants to go to sleep. If we want to have intimate time, we have that intimate time. But best believe I'm going to go to bed if I want to go to bed. So it looks like the woman has to do all of the maintenance to keep the marriage alive. Where's the man in this? And this is why Tia felt lonely. Because if you're getting advice like that from the mama, and no shade to Miss Darlene, I'm sure she's a wonderful woman. However, I have to clock it here. This is terrible advice. Horrible advice. This is advice that should be given to a wife who has no backbone. And this is why a lot of women end up in these type of marriages where they feel like they're doing so much and the man does little. Now, in Tamera's case, she loves it. She loves being the leader. She loves catering to Adam. So that's worked for their dynamic. But it looks like Tia craved the love and the affection and not the chore of having to keep up with your husband to please him. I know a lot of thick-necked men are probably going to get in the comments, oh, you don't know how to be a real wife. Oh, you don't know how to be a real wife. Listen, there are women who do all of that and still the husband does whatever he wants. You do all that. And what do you get in return? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't love your husband and invest in him and support him. But what I'm saying is you shouldn't do it to the detriment of yourself. It should be mutually beneficial. Mutual. So I do, you do, we do. Sometimes husband doesn't have it, I have it. Sometimes he has it, I don't have it. It's a partnership. This right here is you doing all the work and he's just resting in his femininity. It's backwards and flipped. And so now they're getting this advice from grandma and mom. Rest in peace. I hope this is not the grandma that passed away. And you want me to see this love story? This is not a love story. This is servitude. So she's doing all this. And she's also contributing to the household as a wife, mother. And then on top of that, she's the one who has to keep up and maintain the sexy time and make sure he's good. But what about her needs? Red flag! And then this is why you have men like Adam sitting up here, yapping at the mouth, thinking that they're king of the castle. And they're just a court jester. There's no such thing as a perfect wife. All this does is just fulfills one person's needs and not yours. Your cup is not being filled, and you're going to run out of water eventually. And so when you do have a drought, you better hope that your husband can pour some of that excess onto you. And it's, by the sounds of it, Tamera, you're going to have to do a lot of work. There was a scene that I am unable to find online. I'm going to see if I can find it. But in case I can't, there was an article written about that scene. And it's titled, Tia Mowry finally reveals the real reason behind her divorce from Cory Hardrict. And it was written by The Root. Shout out to The Root, by the way. So let's read this article. Though Tia Mowry and Cory Hardrict's divorce may have been smart and amicable, not much is known about what led to their split in the first place until now. So this was in November of 2024, so just last year. The longtime actress shed light on it in an upcoming episode of her new reality show, Tia Mowry, My Next Act. In it, she spends some time with her former sister co-star Jackie Harry, where they reflected on Mowry's divorce and revealed her income. An ability to get steady work in the industry as opposed to her ex-husband and fellow actor Cory Hardrict as one of the reasons that led to her marriage's dissolvement. Red flag. So you see, he started out as a struggling actor and he was still one when they were married. So all these years, y'all want to know the reason why he wasn't able to reach her level or higher? It's because she was holding him down. And this is equivalent to when a parent holds down their child and doesn't let them grow and learn and be out on their own. Mommy's always sending me money. Mommy's always helping me. Not that it's a bad thing when it's done in just times of need, but this was a normal occurrence. This was a habit, a pattern. This was their life. She spent a majority of their marriage holding it down financially, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and y'all wonder why she's breaking down right now. She was holding too much on her back, on her own. And he's just watching her. Like, oh, go, babe. Oh, you know, next year I'm going to get this scene. It's okay, though. But now that she's left him, guess what? He has to work. He must. He doesn't have a crutch anymore, so that hunger is back. And this is why it's not good to be complacent in a marriage. Because now the other person has to carry your load and theirs. And now you have children, theirs too. It's not fair to one person. But of course, he didn't understand that because she was always just there. Tia faithful, holding it down. And don't be mistaken, Tamera's also on the same wavelength, but hers is more 50-50. Tia's is 100-0. Maybe 80-20, maybe. She finally admitted it. And that's why she was getting upset when her sister was like, well, can't you take some time off and just not work? Is because she can't financially. She was unable to. She's never been able to take a break. Even when she got divorced, she had to go right back to work. She couldn't even process her divorce. She's always been working, y'all. And I feel her on that, because it's like, if I'm doing everything already in a marriage and I feel like I'm single, I might as well be single, because your man cannot help you. It's not that he cannot help you. He doesn't have the motivation to. Red flag. Cory, what were you doing for 14 years? You had 14 years to develop. Now, in the beginning, I could have gave you some leeway. You were new to Hollywood. Your mom just passed. You came from Chicago. Got it. But then you had Tia. You had so much access to network and meet with different people, but you didn't do it. You kept getting guest star role after guest star role after guest star role. And now you're finally hungry enough to get more scenes to sustain yourself.
And Die Like a Man, how did the character Solo affect my on-screen and off-screen life? I would say the father figure element in this movie, because I am a father in real life. And then in the movie, I played a father figure. This year, I'm manifesting building my production company. I just started Hardcore Films. So I got a slate of projects I'm working on and building, like in the beginning stages. And I want to be, like I said, more on the creative side, not just the acting, but just creating, building projects from the ground up. And I've already started that process with feature films, TV shows. So I'm really excited about that as well.
People always have positive things to say about working with him. I saw Megan Good said she got paid what she deserved to get paid after working with him. How were those negotiations for you?
Listen, I can say the same as Megan. I worked on this movie 3 weeks. I'm talking about from when I left my house and when I came back. And I've done movies for 5 months. Studio, $70 million budget, $60 million budget, and he paid me the most I ever made in 3 weeks.
Damn.
So that is real.
All
Man,
right.
that's real. He take care of his people. Like he make you feel appreciated. That's
right.
So if y'all got to work with Tyler Perry.
But where was that ambition when you were married to her? But then remember, he said that he was a mama's boy. He didn't say it, but he said he was very close to his mother, and she was a single mother, aka he was a mama's boy. And this was a mommy-son relationship. Oh, you do this. Let's plan the date here. Let's plan that. He's used to that. He never grew up into a man either. So she didn't grow into a woman. He didn't grow into a man. 2 babies getting married and having children. That's what that was. And now that they're adults, they finally realize it.
Are you dating?
No. I'm not dating. My kids. I ain't got time right now. Busy man. You know, I'm locked in. I'm focused. And I believe dating is something that I would be open for. It just got to feel like I'm not chasing it. It's kind of coming to me, you know? And right now, it's just like I'm still trying to figure out who I am right now. You know what I'm saying? Being, you know, in a relationship for a while and being married for a while. And my priority is just like career and children. So right now, this is where I am today. Knowing, you know, if I can just put one foot in front of the other, you know, and take it a day at a time. Because I'm taking a day at a time.
Still to this day.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, I just take it a day at a time. I'm on my way. I want to be the biggest in the world.
What he and a lot of men don't realize is that there are some women who are going to put up with it forever, and maybe that works for them. But eventually, for women who want better for themselves and want more, and who are always striving to grow, and she said that in her career, she's like that. She's very hungry, very independent, ambitious.
I think I do have the emotional bandwidth to date, but what I don't have time for is bullshit. I'm a grown-ass woman. I'm successful. I have businesses to run. I have a mortgage to pay. I have kids. If you're not coming at me correct, I don't have time for it, okay?
And now she's going to be like that in her love life because she said, I refuse to settle. Just like I wouldn't settle for a job and a mediocre career, I'm not settling for a mediocre man. Amen. Good luck, sis. I'm happy for you. Now, let's get to Cory and wrap this right up. Cory also starred in a movie with Megan Good that was titled Divorce in Black. And we're going to watch a scene that was extremely real. So real, in fact, that people started to put two and two together and realize that he was literally channeling himself and Tia in the moment. He saw Tia in Megan's face. Now, let's get to it.
Oh, thank you for inviting us to dinner. We actually used to come here all the time. We'd tell us. You don't hear her talking to you.
You better get your wife, man.
Ain't nobody got to get me, Jim, baby. Okay, you guys, hey, let's just order. I just want to have a nice night. Okay.
Can't remember last time we had a nice night. It's always Dallas, don't do this. Dallas, don't do that, Dallas.
Dallas.
You need help. Jim, black women ain't shit, man.
Red flag. So we're not ish. Cory, I know this is a scene, but that's how majority of men who look like him feel that way. Oh, please tell us more why we're not. Continue.
When last time these women supported us?
Dallas. I'm about to flip over this table.
Hey, please.
And I don't know how you do it, Ava.
I see she tells your ghetto ass everything, huh? Just like she tells her mama and her daddy.
Dallas.
The entitlement, even in this fictional / realistic scene.
You know what? I can't do this. Jim, I can't do it, man. Nope. I made some decisions in my life. I want a divorce. We don't have no kids, so this should be easy.
What?
Okay? You can keep the house because your parents gave us a down payment, and I don't want to hear their mouths, okay? I'm not paying any alimony. You got a good job at the bank. I got a lawyer look over the papers already. Get somebody, get down there and look at it. Sign the damn papers, Ava.
Now, I haven't watched this movie. This movie is extremely ratchet and messy. But from what I could gather from this scene is that Dallas, a.k.a. Cory's character, was being enabled by his mama.
I'm not taking this.
Miss Linda.
Shut up.
And that Megan Good's character was the one who had the money.
I gave up so much of myself to be with you. That you haven't met the real me. That 17-year-old me that was so in love with you. That 20s version that just kept trying and trying. Met the 30s in me, who was very clear that this woman has zero to give. You gonna give me another chance? See, that's that your mama did, making you believe that you're the gift. But I'll be damned if I ever beg and to stay with me.
And all of the resources, and she even paid for the funeral of whoever their family member is on Dallas's side, aka Cory's side. And so it looks like it's true to life to his relationship with Tia, being that in the movie his fictional wife was the breadwinner, and in real life his actual wife was the breadwinner. So now we get to see how he feels about this situation. He feels like Tia should have held him down. The fact that he would accept this role and really channel this character with the authentic performance that he gave just lets me know that he feels her role was to continue to support him and hold him down, because that's black love. We riding till the wheels fall off. Tia was supposed to ride for life, and she chose to hop off the ride, and now he's mad. So now, let's get to the conclusion of this case study. Where are Tia and Tamera now? Let's start with Tamera first. So Tamera is still starring in movies. However, these movies are more Christmas movies, Hallmark movies. Sis is doing her thing, and she's still filming, getting herself gigs, and trying to stay relevant in the Hollywood industry. Now, Sis released a book titled You Should Sit Down for This, and she recently went on the Jennifer Hudson show to reveal that the book includes, an autobiography of her life and how she went from sister to sister to where she is now as a wife and mother. Her and Adam are happily married, and that the book also included sex goals. So y'all gonna go and listen to what Sis had to say.
So congrats on You Should Sit Down for This. And tell me, it includes a list of sex goals for you and your husband. What? We want to hear all about it. We're sitting down for this, right? We're sitting down for this.
Okay, well,
and what does he think about it?
He hasn't read it. He hasn't read that part yet. He's read everything else, but he hasn't read that part yet. He said it's because it's embarrassing, but I mean, he knows about some of the sex goals. Hello. But the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because I've been married for over a decade.
Wow.
Yes.
I think that deserves a hand. Yes.
And for me, staying happily married is having sex goals. And I don't think there's anything wrong with women, being vocal about it.
Red flag, sis, you still own it. Nothing has changed in all of the years that you've been married to Adam. Nothing has changed at all. You're still the one leading everything. And so she said he hasn't read the book. He's a little embarrassed, but it's good for a woman to take the initiative. What about your man? He's never taken one initiative. The only initiative he has taken with you is when he picked you out on the picture frame and said, "Oh, I like that one." And then even then, he had to get your number from the professor, which was okay. But then after that, you were the one who started everything off by sending him questions while he was on his little excursions, being a journalist and whatnot. So now, fast forward, 2 kids later, and you still trying to spice up your sex life. You're the one responsible for that. Of course you are. However, it looks like she's doing well. She's on Instagram all the time talking about her faith and also worried about what people think about her biracial children because they look different. One is a little more tan. The daughter, she's very cute, by the way. Both of them are very adorable children. And her son is fairer skinned. So she's still rambling on about that. Let's continue on to Tia. Tia also went on the Jennifer Hudson show to let us know how she's doing. She's still out there dating, friends setting her up on dating apps and whatnot. But now at least she's more emotionally intelligent. She's still going to therapy, praise God.
I don't blame you. And your friend's been helping you with the dating app. So
they have.
You're trying new things.
I know.
Tell us about that.
So my friends, they wanted to step in and help me, with this whole dating process and experience. And they're like my filters. I did experience, some situations with the apps, and it just didn't go too well.
Situation.
Yeah. So my friends, they wanted to step in and just, help out. And like I said,
have they been a good help with it?
They're tough. Oh. Man, if you can get through them.
So they filter them?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is the requirement to get a date with Tia?
Ooh.
Is there any?
Yeah, I think for me, emotional intelligence is just so important.
I
to
understand
me,
that.
You being mindful of just who you are, your behaviors, your traumas, your triggers. Are you in therapy?
That's a good one.
Are you kind?
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all write that down if you want to check.
So it looks like sis is very adamant on finding a man and also going to therapy, which I wholeheartedly agree with. As long as you're in therapy, you're getting your emotional awareness there, and you're dealing with your childhood trauma, then go ahead and date. Find who you need to find, and at least you'll have a better outcome that way. Co-parenting is going well between her and Cory. They finally got it together. Another praise God moment. And also, she's just trying to find herself, find her happiness. She is just trying to get her footing back, and she looks like she's very happy and at peace. So we're happy for you, Tia. Now, another thing that is of importance is there might be a sister reboot. So I'm going to be excited when that comes out. If it does come out, we will definitely review it on a live stream in the future. Now, that is it for this case study, y'all. Going forward, this is an announcement. I know announcements are usually at the beginning, but hell, if you made it to the end, you a real one. Now, the announcement is that I will condense my case studies to 4 parts only going forward. So every week, you will get the parts in 1 couple every month. I think that is pretty good for the simple fact that I work full time, y'all. YouTube is not my job. I always have to say it. I know, but I always have to let people know I actually got a job. And not only that, but I'm also a wife. So I do have to spend time with my man. And not only that, but I have other commitments going on. I'm part of a lot of different things. So I will do my best to do 1 part, because my case studies will only be 4 parts. And depending on the couple, I will condense it into 4 parts. I'll make it work. And it will be 1 new part each week for 1 month. And after that 1 month, then we're on to a new couple. I think that this is going to be a genius idea. Live streams will always be on the weekend as usual. So, on that note, thank you so much for watching my Tia and Tamera case study. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, take care of your beautiful selves and bye.